Hey guys, Furum here, and today I'm excited to be testing my newly maxed McLaren F1 LM in Ghost Slipstream multiplayer in Asphalt 9, where it should do the best. I've applied all upgrades and the standard import parts, completely maxed acceleration, and put one of my epics on Nitro. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and take a look at my most recent community post if you have the time. As always, the links to my new Furum Clips channel and the Purple Team Discord will be in the description, and I hope you enjoy these races. I have been wanting to make this video for a very long time. Starting since the F1 LM first came to the game, I've wanted to max this car and test it out. A lot of you may know that those of us who are part of the creator program or the influencer program by Gameloft for Asphalt 9 sometimes get perks and tokens for reaching certain milestones. I would say that about 2/3 of the tokens that I have gotten from Gameloft I have invested into this car right here. The first time this car came around, I got it up to 3 stars in its Grand Prix, and recently when packs came out for it, I fully 6-starred it. You may wonder, why this car? Why not something like the Jesko or a higher class car? There are a few reasons I decided to do this. First of all, this is by far my best car in B-Class Elite after the Huracan got punted out from it. Also, as you will see in this video, it is actually useful in getting to Legend League, and it's especially good in the Ghost Slipstream seasons. Every single race in this video, I am facing one or more S-Class cars in this B-Class car, and it's actually pretty competitive against them. In this race, I have faced an Icona Volcano. It's been an extremely close race, but I did manage to pull out the victory in the end. In this next race, I'm going to be competing against 3 cars that are quite a step above the Icona, namely 2 Tri-Nemesis and a Bugatti Chiron. Generally speaking, the F1 LM is most suited to Ghost Slipstream multiplayer. This is because it has low acceleration but very high top speed, and low acceleration is something that otherwise really good cars can get away with in Ghost Slipstream, because at the beginning you can just fall slightly behind and then ride someone's slipstream to get up to your maximum speed rather quickly. And the F1 LM most certainly has everything going for it except the acceleration, which is basically its only weakness, and the slipstream negates that. You see, this car has the highest speed in all of Class B at 243 miles per hour. With my tune it only goes 242 because I decided not to use my epics on top speed, because acceleration, being its weakness, was the most important thing for me to upgrade. Also, this car has very good drifting, quite good handling, and the nitro is very long lasting. These aspects of the F1 LM make it perfect for Ghost Slipstream. However, you also have to keep in mind the S-Class cars that I happen to be facing are also very well suited for Ghost Slipstream, especially the Tri-Nemesis, the Bugatti Chiron, and the other Tri-Nemesis. However, I did manage to beat 2 of them, and one of them only passed me toward the last second. This is kind of something that you will see throughout the video a lot, where the F1 LM, because it gets behind in the beginning, is able to get up to its speed and then get ahead for a good percentage of the time, but then some of the S-Class cars start catching up over a little bit of time, because they can just get up to their high top speed on some longer and straighter sections, and especially once they catch my slipstream, then they're able to catch up to me even faster. I knew this was going to happen, so while I knew that this car would easily get me through Gold League and up to the top end of Platinum League, I also knew that toward the upper end of Platinum League, a lot of the time you face a lot of these high-end S-Class cars. So I was very curious to see, would using this car and this car alone be enough to get me to Legend League? And well, you've seen the title. It was enough. This video recounts some of my best races in my journey through Platinum to Legend League, as well as featuring a couple of races in Legend League against some of these high-end S-Class cars. The race that you are watching right now is one of the prime examples I have seen of the F1 LM being quite competitive in some situations against these higher-end S-Class cars in multiplayer. I get a really good drift around the final turn, and I come in first, ahead of 2 Rimac C2s and 2 W Motors Fenner Super Sports. This brought me to a rating of 1744, or exactly 6 rating away from Legend League, so I knew this race would make or break it. Here I am facing again one of the same Rimac C2s and one of the same Fenners as in the previous race. Now I knew that this was going to be a bit harder, because the Caribbean, well, it's a track that cars that have the really high top speed oftentimes can't really get up to that high top speed on, because there aren't a lot of super straight sections for them to do so. However, it is not so the case with mountain poles. As you can see, all of these S S-Class cars have already caught up to me and are ahead of me in many cases, and a bunch of the A-Class cars in the race too are very close to me. I had some close calls with that truck on the side of the road there, but then I settled solidly into 3rd place. And at this point, I knew, yeah, there's probably not much of a way that I can catch up to these two folks ahead of me, who are the Fenner and the Rimac, and are about 30 miles per hour faster than me. This is where the F1 LM struggles, against these high-end S-Class cars in Legend League. Now, it is a pretty good showing, though, for a B-Class car, for this to really be the only thing it struggles with in Ghost Slipstream, and I would still consider it to be quite an achievement to being so close to these two cars toward the end of the race. Now, the good thing is, coming in 3 out of 7 typically does allow you to go up rating, and so I went up 10 rating, got to Legend League in the McLaren F1 LM. The following 2 races are 2 of the most interesting races that I had while in Legend League. Here we have a Koenigsegg Jesko, the Tryon Nemesis, and a Bugatti Chiron, 3 of the very best cars in the entire game, and I'm here with this B-Class car. How will I ever be able to compete with them? A normal B-Class car would not be able to compete with these cars in Ghost Slipstream, but the F1 LM just can. And this race was on New York, which has a pretty good mix, I would say, between straight sections and the twistier sections, but at this point, I was in 4 out of 4 with the super long straight section coming up, and I had no idea how in the world I was going to be able to pull this off. I was not going to leave the race though, because I knew, yeah, there's some twisty sections coming up, I might be able to pull something off, because these cars cannot stay in their top speed forever. And side note, this car's drifting is so good, even at lower stars honestly, that I was oftentimes hitting the inside when I was taking turns just because it was sharper than I had anticipated. 80% of the way through the race, the Bugatti Chiron wrecks, leaving only the Koenigsegg Jesko directly ahead of me. The Tryon Nemesis pulls up very fast behind me, even getting head-to-head with me at one point, but he hits the side and loses a little bit of his speed, allowing me to come in 1st place, and then my AI after the race passes the Jesko. I think the Jesko may have hit the wall too, actually. If that is not a testament to how good this car really can be, I do not know what is. And now it's time for our final race, which is on Nevada against primarily a Tryon Nemesis. There is also a GT Citroën in this race, another car that should be extremely helped by Ghost Slipstream, and is probably one of the better A-Class cars in Ghost Slipstream. Problem is, otherwise, it just isn't really all that great. Its top speed is the highest in Class A. However, unfortunately, unlike the F1 LM, its drifting is not very good at all. And so this somewhat contributes to its rather unfortunate downfall in many situations. Nowadays, drifting is such an important part of the game, especially with the new meta of punch drifting and floaty drifting, which I am planning to make a video about at some point after I practice them enough and am able to perform them both consistently and reliably. It is highly likely that the drifting capabilities of the new Hennessy Venom F5 will be what determine whether or not it is the new king of the game, because if it drifts as well as the Jesko, or even better, it's quite likely it will be the new king, but if it drifts poorly, it almost certainly will not be. To give a quick general review of this car, it is the overall B-Class king, best speed in its class, really good drifting in nitro, with the poor acceleration being its biggest weakness. Thank you all so much for watching. Please like the video if you have enjoyed, and consider subscribing for more Asphalt and other games content. And I will see you in my next video. Goodbye!